Okay, welcome to the very last section of our percent notes. Today we're going to be talking about interest. So interest can be either good or bad. The good interest is interest you earn on something like a savings account where you invest your money and the bank pays you a percent of what is in your account and adds it onto your total. The bad kind of percent would be interest that you pay on something like a loan or a credit card. So if you buy a house or a car or something that you're paying for with a loan, the bank will charge you a percent of how much you borrowed, and you end up paying back sometimes a lot more than you borrowed. But either way, interest is something that is added onto the amount, either added on that you owe or added on that you earn. And both ways it's found with this formula, I equals PRT. I stands for, you guessed it, interest. P stands for the principal, which is the starting amount of money. It's either how much you invested or how much you borrowed, depending on what the situation is, but it's the amount of money that we start with. R is the rate, which is the number with the percent sign. That's the percent. And T stands for time. And this is important that the time is always measured in years. But we're simply just multiplying principal times rate times time to find the amount of interest. You just have to make sure that you change the interest rate to a decimal and that the time is measured in years. So let's try one. It says, find the interest earned on $200 at 5% for 6 years. So we're going to use I equals PRT. So the principal is how much was invested, times the rate, which is 5%, but we're changing it to a decimal, times the number of years. And then you just simply multiply them together. We have 200 times 0.05 times 6, and we get $60. So this is how much interest was earned. $60. So if we put $200 in a bank account, like a savings account that earns 5% interest, and we leave it there for 6 years, we will earn $60. And you probably guessed that the more you invest, or the higher the interest rate, or the longer you leave it, the more interest you'll earn. The next question says, find the amount of interest paid on a $450 loan at 2.8% interest for 18 months. So we're again multiplying principal times rate times time. So 450 times the rate, which we want to change to a decimal. So when we take the percent sign off, we move the decimal 2 places to the left because we're dividing by 100. And then times the number of years. But it doesn't give us the number of years, it gives us the number of months. You might know that 18 months is a year and a half, but if you weren't sure, you could actually do 18 divided by 12 because there are 12 months in a year, and you would get 1.5. So we have to multiply by 1.5 because that's the number of years that 18 months is. So in my calculator, I am doing 450 times 0.028 times 1.5, and I get 18.9. And I know that with money, I need to have 2 decimal places, so I'm going to add a 0 at the end, and this is how much interest you would owe if you borrowed $450 and the interest rate was 2.8% and it took you a year and a half to pay it back. All right, example 3 says, find the interest earned on $1,245 at 12% for 9 months. Again, I'm doing the principal times the rate times the time, but I need that time to be in years. And if I'm not sure how many years 9 months is, I am going to divide it by 12, right? Because there are 12 months in a year, and that is 0.75. So that's the number of years. Now in my calculator, I do 1,245 times 0.12 times 0.75, the number of years, and I get $112.05 is how much you would earn if you took $1,245, put it in a savings account that earns 12%, and left it there for 9 months. Now, realistically, savings accounts don't earn 12% interest. It's actually such a tiny percentage usually that it's kind of insulting when you look at your bank statement at the end of each month. But if you were lucky enough to find a place to invest your money that earned 12%, that's what you would earn. All right, guys, thanks for watching.